Hi there, it's Susan Shahada, and I want to talk to you for a moment about safety. So, safety we perceive is something that happens to us based on what's happening in the external environment. But I'm here to remind you that our sense of safety is actually something that is regulated internally. So, what I mean by that is when a perceived threat or an actual threat, as is the case with the coronavirus, is happening, what happens is that we actually default to a pattern that has already been established in our nervous system. So our brain and our body are going automatically into an old programmed response. That's where we get our fight, our flight, our freeze, or our fawn, or our flop, if you're familiar with those responses as well. So we have two responses that can happen: a sympathetic nervous system response and a parasympathetic nervous system response. So fight or flight is our sympathetic nervous system, and those are things that are activating us into survival, like a sense of feeling like we need to fight or escape the threat. And then our parasympathetic responses are things that are more like the brakes. So those are the things that are making us feel some sense of paralysis, inaction. So ideally, what we want to do is we want to activate our healthy, relaxed parasympathetic responses. That's one of the ways that we move towards feeling safer at a time of stress. Because as I said, what's actually happening is that the threat is triggering an old program in the body. So if we're used to responding to a threat via fight, via flight, via freeze, via flop, via fawn, then that's what our body is doing right now. And reminding ourselves that this is a previous established response and we have the opportunity to respond to this moment differently is really powerful. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't feel our feelings. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't feel scared, afraid. All of those things are perfectly natural. What I'm inviting you to do is recognize that what you're feeling is actually based on a program in the body and less to do with the external. The external is just the catalyst or the activator for what is an internal state. So if that's the case, it means we also have the power or the control to modify that internal state and come back to a state of balance. So this is just a little reminder to remind you that you actually have more tools at your disposal during this time than you might feel. Even though you might feel powerless right now, remember that you have a lot of power within yourself to self-regulate. And if you need more tools to help you do that, I will perhaps make another video where we talk a little bit about that. In the meantime, take care.